Habits. You can break them, you can gain them, and you can lose them. Habits are a part of our lives, either make or break us. They're incredibly important to pay attention to and to develop. Let's talk all about habits. Habits is the topic of today. My name is Chloe, and this is Oversharing Talking a Car. Welcome to this video. Okay, you already know. Welcome back. Also, please do not mind my skin here, right here. I'm just gonna point it out. I don't know if I should point it out, but yeah, basically just cool things that happen to a person who has acne. Yay! Still have acne, and I'm 23 years old, so it's it's super annoying because I literally have a multiple step routine I do every single day, and still can't get rid of. Decided to do its little pop-y thing right after I did my whole makeup and left the house. Get out there because my skin is not perfect. Recently I've been getting more pimples than usual, so it's kind of just like, what the heck? Like, what the heck? Why do I still have this going on when I'm 23? It's just so annoying because it's like right on my face, so it's like so obvious in my mind. So since this is oversharing, I'm oversharing, and I'm 23 and I still have freaking acne. It's so annoying. Oh yeah, still have my headphones on. I was just sitting in a cafe doing some journaling. I thought I was gonna go there and do work. Instead, I just like journaled, and I actually haven't journaled in a couple weeks. I really had a lot to say, I guess. 9 pages, full pages of like writing. I wrote down so much with that, and I'm already jumping off of topic. Opening this video with like talking about my acne journey, like that's already well, actually I can tie this in. No, watch, I'm gonna tie this in. This is gonna be on topic now. Habits are such an important part of life and lifestyle and your quality of life. You can develop good habits, or you've had good habits, already on the right path towards a better lifestyle and a better quality of life. So I really just want to get into that so we can all be good. Also, you already know I got myself a coffee, not a straight coffee today. Can you guess what I got? It's not coffee, but it is tea. It is one of my favorite go-to drinks I get from cafes. It is a iced dirty chai with oat milk. The dirtier the better, honestly. Please make sure to subscribe to this video and give me a like, as well as leave me a comment down below with your thoughts and anything you would like to share in the comments relating to this video. I would love to read them. I read every comment and I do interact with you guys. So please let me know down below. I wanted to start right from the beginning, where I can remember having some of my first ever habits. Elementary school, middle school, constantly doing that I consider to be some of my first ever habits in life. I was really brainstorming this because I was having a hard time remembering like what were my habits. I mean, the first things that would come to mind were, what was I doing around that time? Who was I around? What was I doing when I got home and before I went to school? Like, what was I doing? School was definitely a very stable place to constantly have a lot of the same routines, which can develop into the habits, like waking up at like 7 a.m. every morning to get to school by 8, and going to after school practices like sports such as volleyball I did, or track. And even in elementary school, I was always in sports. I was doing gymnastics, taekwondo, track again for a little while in elementary school. And those are some of the things that I carried through my whole school life, besides college. College is really when I strayed away from after school activities. Because in college, you really have more freedom to choose, and it's more of a place where you're supposed to more develop your career and your like academic interests. At least that is what I was going into college with. Like, I knew out of high school I wasn't going to continue volleyball because I just didn't have what it takes to be like a pro, or even the motivation to go pro with any sport. although I loved it, like dancing. I loved dancing all through high school and in my youth. I didn't do it in middle school, but all through my youth I was big on dancing. In high school it came around back to me, and I still practice like dancing in my free time in college, but I didn't join like the dance team or anything. So I lost that routine, which was also a habit. And that's, I think college is really when it started to change for me. But when I was thinking and like brainstorming down my first ever habits I could remember, I remember doing a lot of like, I think singing my thoughts. So I would remember as a kid, I would do a lot of like making my own songs, like through just like speaking, but in song. And that was really big for me. And I think I just developed like this little habit to, instead of normally like being like, oh, I feel like going to the beach and drinking a smoothie, I'd be like singing it. I'd be like, I feel like going to the beach and drinking my smoothie under the sun. Like I think I really developed that habit at a very, very young age. It's probably because my father practiced music. It still practices a lot of music, so music was always around me growing up. But I definitely developed this habit of, instead of normally speaking, I would sing. And I think it really, I didn't even think about it back then, but thinking about it now, I think it was really a positive thing and a really lighthearted and cute kid thing to do. But it's just funny how that little habit of singing my thoughts actually has stuck with me. I still do this to this day. Randomly, I'll just randomly start singing my thoughts or singing like random words. Like I'll be saying a normal sentence and all of a sudden I'll like sing part of it. And I think I've even done that in some of my videos. And so that is definitely one of my first ever habits that have stuck with me throughout my whole life. And I honestly think it's a very positive thing, and it's actually pretty funny. So I mark this as a very positive and good habit of mine, but it's definitely noticeable now that I, not only making this video, I was thinking about it, but just growing up and just discovering more about myself and about who I am as a person and my identity. I think that part of me is definitely strong enough to say I've done it my whole life, so it's definitely a strong part of my identity. As weird and random as that is, I honestly do think it's brought me a lot of joy and brought others in my life some joy too. I actually had one time in high school, my freshman year of high school, I was singing in class like a little bit, like we we're doing our own like free time worksheets or something. And I had my headphones in to songs, and I wasn't singing like my random thoughts. I was literally like singing a song, but like I think I was doing it pretty quiet, but they were right in front of me so they could hear. And this boy turns around and he's like, can you stop singing? Can you stop? And I was like, damn, they can hear me. I was like, what? They can hear this? Like, oh my god. So I think that was the first time someone like notably pointed it out to me, and that really like shocked me to my core. I was like, oh my god, like I have been just singing out loud and people can hear me, like what? And so after that I definitely stopped doing it a lot, and like I was way more aware of it, so I just kind of like stopped singing like out loud like that, which I mean it's kind of sad that I did that, because in a way it did make me more reserved and a bit more just not as like free, because I grew up like so free, so like singing in public or everything like never even like went past my brain as like something that could annoy others or like was even all that noticeable to other people. But yeah, also in like freshman year of high school is such a weird time of like growing up and like developing into the type of person teenagers like are just weird. So it was also just like it was a time. Something else I noticed that has always been a habit of mine is like doodling. I am a big doodler. So growing up, I was always doodling in the margins, on my worksheets, just in the corner of pages. I was doodling little characters, little funny little things that pop in my brain, very random and creative, and like I would turn like a lamppost into a caricature I would turn a lamppost into like a caricature, and I would name it like Lampy or something. So it would range from that. Like I remember there was one play day I was having with my friend, and we literally made a whole entire sheet of doodles of real like normal things, like the pillows or the lamps or the fans or the floorboards, and we would turn it into little characters. I was still able to listen and pay attention in class. I always got good grades, but I was definitely always a doodler, always doodling. And then even in college, I was still always doodling. This is like a habit, I don't know, got outside of my area of control sometimes, where I wouldn't even notice myself doodling until all of a sudden it was like, oh, and who can answer this question? And I'd be like, oh, I was just doodling, like not even like aware I was doodling, but oh, let me just like lock back into like the class and like pay attention right now. So I actually kind of miss that, because that was such a big part of like me in school, was I was always doodling. For some reason I had the most creative ideas in class. Recently, since I've been working not in school anymore, sorry, there's somebody like mowing their yard right now, so sorry guys. I've been out here doing the real world thing, adulting. I haven't had much time or much like opportunity to doodle, so I've definitely lost that habit. But it's a shame, because it was such a big part of, I guess, my identity was just a doodler. Like, again, always got really, really good grades. Like, I was always very good in school, and I definitely always listened and was always paying attention, because I would hate, teacher would be like, can somebody answer this? And it was dead silent. Like, I was always the person, if like nobody else was gonna raise their hand and say something, I was always the person that was gonna raise my hand and say something, even if I didn't know the answer or I got it wrong or something. Like, break the silence, because it just made me uncomfortable, and I felt bad for the teacher if nobody else said anything. So I was always paying attention, but I was always doodling at the same time. I wish I had some of those doodles. They're just like on the side of my worksheet. Like, I can't like do anything with that, but yeah, it was pretty fun. It's pretty fun. So I definitely miss that, and I've definitely lost that habit. Last thing about like my childhood habits that I remember, always remember in elementary school specifically, like as a child, my favorite phrase to to ask somebody new was like, I would just, without even really having a conversation with them, I would just go up to other kids and be like, do you want to be my friend? And immediately we were friends and we were playing, and I was like, let's do this, let's like pretend we're vampires or something. Like, as a child, that was like my phrase that I would have on deck always. Do you want to be my friend? I asked it so much, it did become a habit of mine. I think I remember like catching myself being like, I can't ask them the same question, I can't ask them to be my friend, they're already my friend, like what? It was like almost like a default habit of mine to just ask people that, and I was like, wait, they're already my friend, why do I need to ask them that? That one I lost too, and I kind of wish I would still have that. Like, I wish it was still almost like appropriate as a 23-year-old just to go up to a random person and be like, do you want to be my friend? And then immediately you guys are friends. Like, that would be so much easier. It'd make things so much more simple. Moving on to like the middle stages of my life, really honed into like my conscious habits. I'm gonna call it my conscious habits. Post middle school and post elementary school, where your brain's still developing and you've really gained consciousness yet. So high school and up into college, I can sum it up to about 3 or 4. But basically, I got super into yoga, and super into yoga. Like, strictly only watched YouTube videos on yoga teachers or yoga videos or things about meditation, like in the yoga realm. And I got really, really into it. This turned into a habit where like every morning and every night I would do yoga for like an hour. Breached out into every area of my life. I started dressing more like a yogi. I started reading books strictly on yogi and spiritualness and how to, and it ranges, like it was really just like a rabbit hole. Like once you start getting into yoga, you realize there's so much to learn, and there's so many amazing teachings that come along with being a yogi, and that like became my identity for so long. But recently I have not done nearly as much yoga, and I still think it's such a important part of me and my identity. So I think it's such an important part of my identity still to this day, even though I do not have this habit anymore, which is so sad because like I love yoga. I love everything about the yogi teachings. Though I learned so much during those years and years of being so deep in the culture, the way I think, the way I talk, the way I dress was like is so much because of that habit of like just being so centralized in the yogi world. But since moving to California, like into college, into my later years in college, I don't want to say I just dropped yoga completely, because I've always done yoga at least sometimes throughout a year, you know, but I used to do it every single day. Like it was a daily habit of mine. Left the circle of yoga, but I still hold it to be such a strong part of my identity, even though it's not something I do every day. So I'm constantly trying to work back towards that, and I'm really like shocked actually how hard it's been, because I used to have so much ease when it came to just practicing yoga and reading about yoga and watching videos about yoga. Like it came so easy to me to just do it. Like it wasn't a chore to me, and it's not like it's a chore to me now, but for some reason it's been so hard for me to get back into the flow. And I don't know if it's because of my new environment here, like in Los Angeles, or it's because of my lack of access to as much nature, because when I was in nature, it was like a really like, it was a combo of being connected with nature and doing yoga was like such a bridge between the two. Since being in LA, like, I don't know, it's like the people here are not as spiritual, and you know, I grew up in Hawaii, lived in Colorado, so both of those places were very spiritual and like earthy. Here you still find spiritual people, but it's definitely like more city. And so I think I've just had a hard time adjusting to keeping the old habits that I cherish so much and adapting them here in Los Angeles. And I've been here for almost, like living here for almost 2 years, so I guess it's just been hard adjustment for me. Still trying to work back towards developing that as a habit in my life again, because it's so good for me. It's so good for you. Stretch every day and like get your body in regulation, because if you're doing it like right when you wake up in the morning or right before you go to bed, it's such a good way to regulate your body and your mind. It really sets your day up for success when you just do it right off the bat. Like you do your yoga, you're stretching, your body feels good, and then you're meditating at the end of your session. Like that is such a beautiful way to put in such positive reinforcement into your everyday. Positive in your head right when you wake up in the morning or right before you go to bed. It really sets you up to be more confident. Your inner beauty truly shines outward when you are doing things like that, and I noticed it a lot more in myself when I was feeding my inner beauty and my inner soul, how much it reflected outwards. So I really want to get back there, make that habit true again, because it's so good for you and so good for me. So if this was your sign to get into yoga, take it, because it's so good for you. You won't regret it. It's amazing. It's amazing practices. Yes, I feel so passionate about it. But my other conscious habits I really developed in my high school years and college years, but mostly in high school, honestly. I've really like gone into habits, and another habit of mine is eating healthy whole foods. So as a lot of you probably know who are subscribed to me already, I am vegan. So I've been vegan since 8th grade, so that's like 10 years ago. Crazy, right? Like that's a long time ago. And I went vegan after watching a documentary on the animal industry, the agricultural industry. Completely changed my worldview and completely changed the way I want to live. Really into health. I really started again watching lots of YouTube videos and watching what I eat, and this actually trickled into negative parts of my life, which I am so glad I've stopped. But there was a lot of it that was really positive and good for me too. Like I was really strict on myself on waking up every day and drinking a lot of water, or drinking lemon waters, or making my own big salads I would eat, and like it was really healthy for me, and I was really into it. I had the routine down. Routine and habit, I think, is kind of an interchangeable word. So I'm gonna use routine and habit interchangeably a lot during this video, so like you don't get confused and we still are on topic. Not only started like strictly watching the yoga videos, I was strictly watching like vegan, healthy, whole food vloggy videos on YouTube so much. Like that was my whole algorithm, was that a strong point in my life. People knew me as someone who like would be able to tell them exactly the nutritional values of almost anything that you were eating. Like I really got into nutrition, and I was like reading every label. I was looking at every single nutritional value. Negatively, that also made me start being really aware of calories and stuff, which wasn't good for me at all. I was also really aware of like what I needed to be eating. I put a lot of research into it. I noticed myself being less happy and being less active and eating like junk foods a lot right before I developed these habits of eating clean, and that was like a big shock to me because I grew up in Hawaii, like I'm saying, and in Hawaii there's a lot of access to clean foods. And so when I noticed, like in my later years of middle school to early high school, I was eating things without like even thinking about what I was putting in my body. Tons of Oreos every night, or eating just like microwavable chicken nuggets every night, eating ice creams, just not even paying attention to what I was putting in my body. But then when I realized how important it is what you let yourself put into your body and fuel you, how it affects your energy, how it affects your moods, how it affects the way you look at life, honestly, it clicked for me how big of an impact it was having on every aspect of my life. I really got into the health aspect of it. This is something that has stuck with me, eating healthy. Like I completely gave up soda. I do not drink soda. I never buy sodas, like ever. And like the only time I'll do it, like a drink of soda for the last 10 years has been when I would like, I don't know, I'm socially out at like a bar or something, like turning 21, like at a bar or something, and it's like mixed in with a drink of some sort, that's really the only time I ever drink sodas. It's not like I even drank a lot of soda growing up because my parents, were like hippy dippy, like healthy, but I definitely did drink a lot of soda growing up too, because I don't know, I was just a kid and I didn't even think about how these things affect me. Along with that, I still have a lot of those habits with me today. Although recently I've become a lot more relaxed and calm, and I don't take it as seriously as I used to. And I think it's gotten to a point where it's easy for me to get back into those habits because it hasn't been that long of me not being like that. But I definitely lost a lot of the good habits when it came to that health. I stopped being as strict when I realized it was becoming unhealthy, but then now it's almost flip-flopped, and I'm like almost like, okay, no, I need to actually like find the middle ground, find the balance here, because it was really good for me to be healthy habits in my life, making sure I'm putting the right foods in my body to fuel my energy. Right now in a stage of trying to move back towards being a bit more strict with myself, but not as strict as I was. Moving on, documentaries, which went along with eating healthy, and yoga. A lot of documentaries I used to watch, like habitually, I would just watch a documentary every night. Don't do that anymore. Those are all a lot of habits that I developed through high school, early college. I both was more strict with, that I had, and I've lost some, and I've gained a few new ones I've developed. And this was actually hard for me to even think about because the ones that came to mind right away were not very positive right off the brain, right off my dome, right out of the dome onto my paper. And the two habits I wrote down think of right away was staying up too late and then sleeping in. I am a night owl. I do love the nighttime, but I also love the mornings, and that is not a good combo because I need sleep. I have the type of body and sleep regulation where I need at least 8 hours of sleep every night. Like, I'm not the type of person that can get 6 hours and feel well rested. Hard because I usually go to bed around 2 a.m. every night or 1 a.m. and I wake up around, well, today I woke up at 9, which is actually, I think, a good time to wake up. Most of the time I'm waking up at like 10:30, 11 a.m. is a type of habit that I've definitely developed a lot since being out of school, and it all in college because I didn't have a lot of morning classes in college either. Definitely become kind of bad with it. I've definitely gotten pretty bad with my sleep schedule. Back to a consistent point there with my sleep. Sleep is so important. Difference a good night's sleep and well-rested body has on you, your brain function, your skin, your emotions is insane. Like how much it actually has an effect on you. Or get into, because I don't think I ever had a really solid sleep schedule. So a new habit I'm gonna try to develop is good sleep schedule. Go to bed at a reasonable time and wake up in a reasonable time. So 9 a.m. and go to sleep around 12 a.m. is probably gonna be a schedule I'm gonna try to stick to. I just be scrolling. I guess that's a bad habit. I can only think of the negative habits, right, that I've developed recently, which is kind of worrying. The habits that I had when I was younger, I still have some of those, so I guess those are the good habits, but I've already talked about that. So I can only really think of bad habits. Scrolling, I had to set like timers on my social media apps because I was like, I do not want to be wasting my life scrolling. And I recently had to get TikTok again. Well, I didn't have to, but I got TikTok again because I've been posting on TikTok for the first time in like 4 years because I deleted it for so long. Get another platform going. Yeah, also watching lots of shows. This has been a bad habit of mine for a while actually. I've gotten a little bit better, but the first half of this year I was watching like way too many shows. I don't know, it's kind of like escaping reality for me. I don't like that because I want to make sure my reality is amazing and it's always something I want to be in. So I think just like giving myself those distractions isn't necessarily good for my development. Try to live my own life instead of trying to vicariously live through others through TV shows or YouTube and stuff. I really love watching shows. I think it has taught me so much. Definitely learned so much through watching shows actually. I was abusing it too much. So I'm gonna try to lay back, replace it with the better habits. The best thing and best piece of advice I can give you is if you're trying to get rid of an old habit, replace it with a better habit to distract yourself from doing the old habit again. So this piece of advice I'm about to give you is really, really important to know when you're just anything about habits. This is such an important piece of information that has helped me so much develop good habits and make those habits like stick in my life. It takes 60 days to break a habit, and it takes another 60 days to develop a habit that stays in your life. 60 days. So I want you guys to remember that you need to stay consistent with these things, or at least you're thinking about it every day with the good habits you want to put into your life. Take a long time to break that habit that you want to get rid of, another 60 days to develop the new one. So I know that can seem a little bit long and jarring, but trust me, it is worth it. There have been times where I'm like, oh, I've started to do this thing every day and like this is gonna be my new habit. And then I'll only do it for like 20 days and then all of a sudden I will just completely drop it and have a hard time ever getting back into it. Or have a good habit that you haven't done in a while. If you wait too long, if you wait past that 60-day mark, it's a super hard time developing it back into your life. So like try not to let it go past like 60 days. It really like changed the way I look at habits because it gave me like more reassurance to know that yeah, so I hope that helps. I hope that does help you. So guys, this was everything habits and a little inside look at where I've had habits in my life and where I've lost them and the things I want to bring back in. And YouTube for me has actually been a long time habit that I've only recently started to take seriously. Overall, YouTube for me is a good habit. Making these videos, editing these videos, constant routine for me. I've routinely been making videos, editing them, and posting them weekly. I'm doing bi-weekly, so I've been doing 2 videos a week. And I've really been proud of myself for sticking to this and to taking it seriously. And it's been such a joy in my life, and it's so good to know that I am working towards something. So thank you guys for allowing me to build on this good habit of mine and share it along with you guys and the world. And I just think it's such an amazing thing for me to be doing. Guys, this is the end of this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys learned a little bit about habits, and I encourage you to try to remember some of your first ever habits you've had in life, because it was kind of a struggle for me to remember my first ever habits as a child, but it was actually fun trying to think about, like, what did I do on a day-to-day basis as a kid, and to become aware of the places that you both have good habits and bad habits. I don't want you guys focusing on anything all one. I think it's very important to always find balance. I want you guys to also practice this. Write it down. Write down your good habits, write down your bad habits, and write down new habits that you want to put in your life. And remember, it takes 60 days. So yes, I know you guys are already amazing, but let's keep working towards our best version of ourselves. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you. You're amazing. You can do it. Never give up. Never give up. And I will see you guys again next week with another new video. So don't forget to subscribe to me and like this video, and also leave your comments down below, and I will get to them shortly. So yes, have a good one, guys. I will see you later. Sub, like, calm. Don't forget. Sub, like, calm. See you guys. Bye.
Actually, we're having a wonderful day today. You're the best.